Beep Beep, welcome back to the Oak Tree. We have a very special Acorn report for you this evening. You know what, let's just get rid of that. It's interesting to take on the format of a video because it feels more raw and realistic as it resonates with you, dear viewer, in a superficial yet immersive way. The connection that we have is valuable as the pixels of my figure shine through your screen into your retina and process it in your brain as I provide you with information, emotion, and satisfaction to your wants or needs, or just something to put in the background as you go through your day. Either works for video creators, as parasocial relationships are complicated and have only been recently formed through the advent of video streaming platforms and content sharing. But with these relationships having a sudden rise in popularity, people tend to misunderstand what it means to truly be in one and what it takes to maintain a healthy relationship between people through the screens of a camera and a laptop, phone, or TV. Some bad actors have abused their platforms to create chaos through their rhetoric, actions, and doctrines, utilizing their audience as a springboard to garner power to satisfy their deep urges for dominion. But there's one specific case where a creator utilized their platform to emotionally manipulate their audience into believing something realistic at the expense of their dignity, to promote a superficial philosophy on the toxic nature of parasocial relationships, while at the same time perpetuating one through their financial coercion. For those of you who may be unaware, YouTuber personality Carolyn Konsnar has been facing backlash recently on social media and in the press, where she posted a video on her channel on April 28th announcing her pregnancy at the age of 20 after a year-long hiatus of uploads.
It's really interesting thinking about coming back to YouTube with an announcement like this, because I've been gone for so long. I started this channel when I was 15. A lot of you have been following me since I was 15 years old, and not that much time has gone by, and I'm already on to discovering new life. YouTube is not taken seriously. YouTubers are not taken seriously. That's a really frightening prospect. And the fact that a 15-year-old had the ability to just influence millions of people is absolutely ridiculous and so dangerous. Older, and I start to really think about my place in this world. I wonder, what should I do with my influence? It's hard to express the feelings that I'm experiencing right now, because there's so much fear and anxiety that is totally reasonable. And kind of the way that I've just been getting through life is just thinking about all that can go right. And when I think about it, I am just overwhelmed by how wonderful life can be.
It was perceived by many of her viewers and fans as a heartfelt confession about her young pregnancy, with, her claimed fertility issues and parental anxieties touching the hearts of many young women today who are facing those same issues. However, a few days later, on May 1st, she posted a video admitting that this whole pregnancy was a stunt.
I lied about being pregnant as a joke. And the joke is not that pregnancy under strenuous circumstances is funny. The joke is not that the audience was gullible enough to believe that I was pregnant. The joke is you connected to something that wasn't real. And I have become something that isn't real. We all come here to find this connection over and over again. And we don't really find it until now, when you subscribe to my Patreon.
She claimed that as a content creator, her personality and her audience are mere abstractions that can't form genuine connections and relationships with one another without a more gate-kept community. The video was just an announcement for her Patreon page. For those who don't know, Patreon is a website dedicated for people who support a creator to be able to financially support that creator periodically through different financial tiers, and in return they get exclusive content and interactions with that creator.
Huh? For $50 you get a group chat and she tells you where she's been? Holy shit. That's kind of crazy.
To her, the attention of the audience is only of monetary value.
When you're a content creator, the line between entertainment and reality is very blurred. Your audience will become very attached to an abstraction of yourself. And the odd thing is that this connection can become very personally meaningful to the viewers, whilst not being personally meaningful to the creator itself. Your attention is monetarily valuable to me. And unless you have some narcissistic tendencies, which a lot of us do, the experience of having a parasocial relationship with your audience can be very uncomfortable.
Now, I do agree that parasocial relationships are uncomfortable to be in, but I think that her frankly nihilistic view of people creating and interacting with these mediums of entertainment and education further perpetuates these parasocial relationships by treating audience members as mere financial assets to help fill the pockets of these machine-like creators, churning out content to suit the algorithm and its views on the daily trends rather than meaningful artisanship that people genuinely want to see. And I'm not the first person to call her out on this.
I feel like what you're trying to say, are you trying to say that the people who fell for your like fake pregnancy are a bunch of parasocial people because they fell for something that like isn't real? Well, here, let me say this, and I'll say this right now. I don't think any person is going to believe somebody. Like if somebody sees a video about a pregnancy, they wouldn't think second thoughts. They wouldn't think, maybe this person might be faking the pregnancy. Nobody's going to think about that. They're just going to see I'm pregnant. They're going to be like, oh, cool, you're pregnant. No one's going to think that. And this still doesn't scream parasocial in my eyes. To me, this is just stupid. If you want to talk about parasocial, let's look at the comments in your video. The top comment, which you have pinned on your channel, says somebody saying, if you're mad at Caroline, then you must be new here. Well, to be fair, I am new here. I didn't even know who the hell you were until this situation happened. But that doesn't matter. That comment right there is more parasocial than the people falling for your fake pregnancy or people like believing that you were pregnant.
Now, many have criticized Constanar's actions, calling her tone deaf with her pseudo-intellectual philosophy, as well as her being outright exploitative of the genuine troubles that many young women dealing with pregnancy face. From my experience, as the son of a mother who recently had to go through immense pain and punishment for being pregnant during the pandemic, I know what it's like to face the deluge of dread and darkness that a new member of the family can yield to a prospective mother of one or multiple children. The fact that she used the power that her platform gave her to exploit the emotional investment that her audience and onlookers of her videos provide is a disgrace to that struggle, as well as her viewers in general. Others have come to her defense, though, arguing that her stunt was taken out of context and that this was totally in line with her style of content and comedy. Well, what is that style exactly? This isn't the first time that she's faced stardom in the media landscape. She grew up pretty wealthy, landed a few minor acting roles in a couple of movies, and pursued the art of ballet, following the footsteps of her mother. When she was 15, she started her YouTube channel making Minecraft videos and showcasing her art of ballet on her Instagram. However, she faced a ton of backlash from her early content because of many instances of targeted misogyny against her, as well as people attacking her for having a Jewish background.
I'll give you an example. When I was 15 and I first started making content, I had a lot of people threaten to me every day. And if you could imagine, this was not fun. And the problem with this, beyond the obvious, is that there's no meaningful way to respond to this interaction. The offender has anonymity, and in some way, so do I. So I'm not treating them like a real person. They're not treating me like a real person. You're not real, and I'm not real, and none of this is real. And yet, the effect that we have on each other is still very real.
She gradually ventured off into other forms of content such as podcasts, advice videos, and her now famous musical comedy skits about, well, just the bare minimum social commentary on politics, religion, gender roles, and just about anything that can be considered edgy humor that you'd likely find on r/I'm14 and This Is Deep. Her growing popularity has allowed her to collaborate with a bunch of other creators famous among my age demographic, such as Anthony Poe, Oompaville, and she's currently involved in a comedy trio known as Best Friends Today. One crucial aspect of her content that she believed was constantly not getting recognized enough was her art. As I mentioned, her mother had a history of art, especially in regards to performing ballet. And Caroline decided to pursue the arts herself. She's always had a fascination for it. That's why I believe she has a distinct style for her videos. VHS filters, overly exaggerated personalities that surprisingly don't use a lot of foul language, flashy editing, and catchy tunes. These components combined, along with her absurd humor, went hand in hand with the majority of her audience. But her deep inner passion for expression seemed to be in jeopardy with her trying to cater towards her audience's very niche sense of humor. They wanted her to continue creating content that had the same chaotic nature of absurd nihilism that affected her emotionally and physically. Caroline has publicly admitted of having experiences with mental health issues and a toxic fan base in the past.
I wanted to come back to YouTube and I wanted to explain why I was gone, but I don't want to give my weird audience ammunition. So instead of doing that, I decided to make a fictitious, potentially traumatic pregnancy story to weed out the weirdos so that the real people can give me money to support me on another platform. God, what is this sounding like? The people that believe in my vision and what we're building. What does that sound like? Listen, I know everyone's struggling for money right now. I know the industry is bad, okay? But surely faking a pregnancy is not the way to get people to your Patreon.
This is why I think she created her Patreon. She wanted a haven for an audience that she could rely on. An audience that she could trust. But in my opinion, this further spoiled the relationship she had with her audience members. The controversy has sparked a larger conversation about Caroline's accountability for her audience, as well as the very nature of parasocial relationships.
You don't like parasocial relationships, but you wanted to talk about serious stuff that happened in your life on your YouTube channel. You decided against that because YouTube people can be crazy, which they can be. So you ultimately decided to upload the really sensitive stuff to Patreon so that the only people that can see it are the people willing to give you money. Now, I understand your logic, but you do realize how this can end up badly, right? How anybody who has a parasocial relationship with you, this is only going to make it worse, right? And especially since the tier of Patreon that you unlock that exclusive sensitive information, you need to pay $50 a month, actually over $50 a month. There is no doubt in my mind that most of the people that are going to pay you that amount have some type of parasocial relationship with you. And that's not even the most expensive tier. The most expensive tier is $300.22. Like, that one might just be a joke, but the $50 one definitely isn't. Oh, and then my favorite part of this, at the end of the video, she asks you to email her on Yahoo questions that she can give you advice. Like, I know it's for a comedy video, but bruh. Bruh.
You fake being pregnant to promote your Patreon? What? But wait, just to backtrack here for a little bit. The joke was, you connected to something that was not real. This just gave me a flashback to the I'm 14 and deep memes. Duh, if you make a genuine video claiming to be pregnant, where you candidly break down multiple times throughout this video, people are going to feel empathy for you. I wouldn't really jump to the parasocial part there, maybe for the 0.1%, but those are the ones who are going to go to your Patreon and pay you money to get access to these exclusive videos. So I don't really know what you're trying to solve here other than getting paid more. Like, there's nothing wrong with getting paid more, but this is a extremely weird way to do it. The video just seems very real and genuine. It was well put together. I have to give her that. But she chose to make a fake narrative to promote a Patreon to connect with a small number of viewers rather than just being authentic and connecting with a larger number of viewers.
Her history of facing a constant bombardment of criticism for her creative expression and bleak philosophy on the facades that we display online really do highlight her motives for the stunt, but I and many others believe that this form of nihilistic behavior with one's audience isn't healthy or even remotely a commentary on these toxic online interactions. It just continues to perpetuate them, and we have seen the effects of this. Caroline has experienced numerous instances where she was called out for her offensive material. Many creators on YouTube who are both fans or simple viewers of her videos have made videos of their own, giving their 2 cents on the matter. And she's even been distanced from some of the projects that she's been a part of, such as Best Friends Today. As of the recording of this video, she has released a response on her Patreon in which she says that she won't be making a public apology because of the misunderstandings of her intentions in regards to this project. But as she continues to double down on her stance, it seems like it wouldn't be a while until her entire community starts to question her motives. I really do hope that Caroline learns from the situation, since this is the kind of entertainment that her audience knows her for. Rage baiting, eliciting an unwarranted emotional response because she believes in the reaction rather than the action. it's important for us as viewers, and in some cases creators, to understand that we can be more than just the screens we're imprisoned in.
This is very weird, to essentially weaponize emotional support from Stunt to advertise your Patreon. You also can come back and just say, hey, I was going through some stuff. I'm good now. Let's talk about content. You know, like, let's get back to advice with Not a Doctor, because she does the advice series or whatever. You know, like, let's get back to that. Like, you can do that. You don't have to do this stunt.
You, dear viewer, know that I'm physically limited in my interactions with you, but you also trust me with not suddenly acting aggressively, because that's not what you expect. Similarly, this mutual trust and compassion that we have is something that made Caroline's stunt lackluster. She believed that she was driving her supposed weird fan base that was plaguing her psyche away as she allowed a new wave of trusting individuals into her community on a paid subscription service. But all she did was abuse the trust of her viewers to get them to react emotionally and manipulate them into shilling their money to continue her career. I hope you two should strive to be more trustworthy of one another, especially with the way we interact in the online space. Although we should be perpetually skeptical and insecure about the legitimacy of our online personas and actions, we shouldn't let that blind us from our common quality of being trustworthy, engaging, caring individuals who make up this ever-changing landscape that is the internet and video technology. The callous lies of Caroline should be a lesson for us to learn from about the dangers of online emotional manipulation. And we should strive to create more healthy parasocial relationships. After all, these networks were created for us to be social in the first place.
Oh yeah.
Thank you all so much for watching one of my rambunctious ramblings. Join us next time for more in-depth coverage of stories that matter, pretty much. In the meantime, chuck me a few bucks so that I can reveal to you the true reason why I hadn't been catching up with my bio homework. Please don't. I don't want your money. Use it for something good. Donate it to charity or something.
I hope you choke on my sincerity. I hope you choke on my sincerity. I hope you die.
My life is filled with wonder and weird mysteries that continue to plague my mind in blinding flashes. As my existence develops in a digital era, my form grows fonder of the communities I see sprouting around me. But some try to spoil the soup of life through corruption, greed, and domination, especially in my community. Although justice is blind, vengeance hungers for targets. I must do what's in my capacity to help spread awareness about the foul underground of our community. It's going to be a risky move for me, I'd admit it, but with the content cops and video vigilantes before me, I must continue their legacy as the daredevil that I am. Justice will be served.